Hello everyone, welcome back to another guide video, and this time for Medusa, the newest god added to Smite. And with me, as always, is Lord Door, my trusty little guinea pig.
Yay!
And first we're going to talk about her abilities. First, I believe her passive is very useful, very strong. One, she suffers no movement penalty whatsoever while strafing side to side, and half the movement penalty while running backwards is reduced by half. So she has a lot of free mobility. She's able to strafe very easily. If you recall my guide video on Wheelix, her cat form, while strafing side to side on her cat, you are massively slow, but you gain a lot of movement speed running forward. With Medusa, it is the exact opposite. You have free movement speed all throughout. So pretty much what this alone allows you to do is pretty much back up away from your opponent while keeping an eye on them, while pretty much moving almost at full speed. Why is this so important? Because if they're going to throw big abilities at you, you need to see it coming so you can dodge. And the strafing side to side allows you to dodge that much easier. So pretty much it just makes it so much easier to dodge key abilities that may or may not kill you. Anyway, now let's continue on. Her first ability, Viper Shot. This is pretty much your biggest damage for single targets. This is what's going to get you those kills on these single target gods. Pretty much what it is, 10 damage at low rank, 42 damage at highest rank, and it applies a poison 1.5 seconds. It's like, it's pretty strong. And what exactly is it? You gain 3 basic attacks. You gain 3 shots with the Viper, so you can shoot 3 times. And while you're shooting it, you get 100% max attack speed. Pretty much, you can just spam these things out there. Of course, when you fire that 3rd shot, that's when it goes on its cooldown. So, if you're a really good shot and you're able to hit your opponent, it's really strong. 2, Acid Spray, the most broken lane clearing ability there is. No other hunter in the game can compare to it. It's ridiculous how well this thing clears minion waves. 1, it's broken. 90 damage at lowest rank, up to 270 at highest, without any additional items, of course. This is what you're going to be using to clear waves, deal some extra damage to your opponents. All it is, it's pretty much just a nuke. That's all it is, a straight line nuke. Where I'll show you guys the additional part of it a little bit later. Her 3, I cannot pronounce that. Lecrate. You know what? Forget it. It's her dash. It's her dash, and what it does, it deals a little bit of damage, 120 at early ranks. Lacerate. My bad. Sorry. But yes.
Jesus, English.
I know, right? English. But anyway, 120 damage early. That is pretty damn good. And all you're gonna need for the longest time is only 1 point. So 120 damage to 240. Not the best scaling. It's very weak scaling. Just very weak. All you need is 1 point early, and that's it. And not only is it a dash, but also if you hit someone with your lacerate, healing reduction from 10% at lowest rank to 50% at higher ranks. So pretty much if you're up against, like if there's a Hercules on the other side or something like this really hurts his ability to, heal himself. So it's really strong on being able to pick key individuals off. And also it's a very good escape as well. Now her ultimate. This is what she is known for, Petrify. It's a cone ability. It is a very large cone ability at that. Range of 70, the longest range of all of her abilities. I mean, all of her abilities is about 55 range, and the Viper Shot is her basic attack range. But 70 range, that it is large. It does from 300 to 700. So it scales up each point by 100 points. So it is good scaling. stuns for 2 seconds if they're looking at you, and if they're not looking at you, it's a movement speed of 30, and they take half the damage. So pretty much if they're looking, if you can catch them looking at you and you hit them with this, they take full damage and they're stunned. So it is really good, and the slow duration is for 3 seconds. So it's pretty solid. It's a very solid ability. But the problem with that is it is a massive cooldown. It's a cooldown of 90 seconds at all ranks. It does not lower it whatsoever. So when you want to use this ability, you have to pretty much have to know what you're doing. Okay, first, now for the skill build. What you want to do is max out your 2 for wave clear. I tried various other ways of scaling. Like, I tested trying to max out my 1 first for, you know, killing out the opponent first, but it just does not work because your 1 is not good enough for wave clearing. So you need to max out your 2 first, your acid spray. And here I'll show you. It is a projectile. But the thing is, when you hit someone with this, a cone will show up and it will spray. It will spread out. So I'll show you. I can't really quite show you right now what the spray is like because I have nothing to really target right at the moment. But pretty much you want to max out your 2 for wave clearing. Then put your point into your 1 when you can. And pretty much as you can see here, now I have 3 orbs. As long as you have these orbs, it will not go on cooldown. Your 1 will not go on cooldown until you use every single one of these. And pretty much you just shoot out 3 snakes from your basic attacks. As you can see there. Now your 3, lacerate. It is your dash. Yeah. Oh, good. Someone I can test this on. As you can see here that I have a target on, you see a cone behind him. Pretty much it will, that signifies that when I hit him, or if it hit him, because there's like a 1.5 second delay, it will spray out in a cone, and everything behind him will take the same amount of damage behind him. So as we see, and voila, and that's how the wave clear. Because the cone looks pretty small, but it actually reaches the entire minion wave. It hits the entire minion wave. That's why it's so good. So pretty much what you want to do by level 5, you want 2 points in your 2, 1 point in your 3, and 1 point in your 1. That counts for 4 points, and you want to get your ultimate as soon as you can. So pretty much that's what you want to do. And at that point, you want to max out your 1, because all you need is 1 point in your lacerate. So we're going to max out our 1. And of course, we want to get points into our ultimate whenever we can. So there's that. And we just maxed out our build at level 20. We want to finish our lacerate when we can. And that's pretty much the skill build. Now for the items. She is pretty mana dependent because the acid spray does take a little bit of your mana away, a good chunk. And your ultimate takes a good chunk of mana as well, 100 mana. So you always, if you're wanting to ult someone, you always have to have that in reserve. So pretty much you want to have the Bluestone Pendant early, along with the Spiked Gauntlet, so you can get the Devourer's Gauntlet. And they suggest a healing pot, but if you're feeling confident and you really think you can handle the lane, then you can go with a ward instead. But if you don't feel too confident on Morgana quite yet, then go with the health pot, because that will help.
Medusa.
Medusa. Okay, for future reference, I might say Morgana again, because because in my mind I'm referencing her to the Dota 2 version, because there is one that's very similar in Dota 2. And for those who don't know, I have played Dota 2 as well. But yes, and pretty much what we're looking for in this build, or in this item, is to get the Devourer's Gauntlet as quick as possible. And of course at this point we're going to be stacking our items, so I'll be right back with you guys, and we're going to just stack up these the gauntlet so we can get you the correct numbers in the end of the video. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. And now, since we're back with our fully stacked Devourer's Gauntlet, let's continue our build. And pretty much they're suggesting Warrior's Tabby. I don't quite agree with this, because one, I mean, just to use your Viper Strike for 3 basic quick attacks is not usually enough. So I prefer the Ninja Tabbies. I prefer them because it gives you a little bit more breathing room with your basic attacks, and if you're going to go the crit build, which I'm going to show you, then this is what you're going to want. Now, if you're going to go more of a power based, where you're using more for your abilities than you are for your own basic attacks, then I would not go Ninja Tabbies. But since I'm going to be doing the basic attack with crits, I'm going to go the Warrior Tabby instead, because that would be a little bit more useful. So after that, we got the Warrior Tabby, right? At this point, let's just say we're doing mediocre. We're okay. We're doing fine. We're not really outlaning them, but we're able to, get our farm up. We're able to just kind of keep things a little bit even. But then all of a sudden, we get a gank in and we get a couple kills, and we're ahead of them then. Okay, let's go with that. If we're ahead of them, then we're gonna want something better than Ichaival. Right, Ichaival provides a lot, but we want something a little bit stronger than Ichaival at that point if we're doing well, right? So and we still want a bit of attack speed before we get crit, because what's the point of using crits if you don't have the attack speed to back it up? We were going to go with Executioner. Why? Because one, it provides more than the Ichaival can. It reduces the enemy's armor, which in a sense you're stealing armor from them, 8% of what they have, which is better than the 10 penetration that Ichaival provides. And it doesn't give as much attack speed compared to 30, but 25 is usually the most you're gonna need. At this point, you're pretty much good and set. You won't really need any more attack speed. So we're gonna go with Executioner. And at that point, we were going to do the usual build, like we're going to want to go with Rage into Deathbringer. And now here is the problem. This is the late game, and you're doing usually you can do really well at this point. Your ultimate really allows you to set up kills, can keep you safe, and everything else. You're doing just fine. But the problem is, when it comes to really late game and they're starting to catch up to you, you're going to need to find a way to keep yourself alive. And that's where I find this 6 slot to be really useful. It's more of it's not I don't find you have enough damage at this point to stay in above them for the rest of the game, regardless how far they get. So I like to think Shift or Shield, because one, it provides a lot of power, which will boost up your Viper Strike when you dive in there. And as soon as they knock your HP lower than 50%, you'll have that protection to help you get sustain yourself in the fight. But let's just say they have actually more heals than your last rate can deal with. Maybe the Brawler's Beat Stick then, but not really. That's more for the offensive build, and at this point you don't really need the more power or penetration. You're kind of okay with the Executioner, because the Executioner is going to shred through them. It will allow your Viper Strike to deal even more damage, because when you with the 3 strikes you did with the Viper Strike, you lowered their armor by 8% each time. So you really shred their armor there. But if they have a lot of CC and you did not pick up beads, or you might think you might need beads as well as the Magi's Blessing, like there's a Ymir, like an Ares pole, like there's also a Artemis. Let's see, an Artemis Boar, or the Chronos Stun. I mean, there's a lot of CC out there that just one pair of beads just cannot deal with. So maybe you need another set of ways to keep yourself safe. Maybe Magi's Blessing, because this slot here is going to be what keeps you alive. Maybe you need some more HP, so something with a little bit more HP. So let's take a look here. What can we get that gives us a little bit more HP so we can stay in the fight, and yet allows us to deal some good damage? Right now I'm looking through this and I'm not seeing a whole lot of useful things right now. Actually, Winged Blade is really good, especially if they have slows, because you may not know, you can be actually triggered you can be stopped in mid last rate. Like a Ymir freeze can stop you. Janus portal can stop you in mid last rate, and then it'll still go on cooldown. Yeah, it's pretty bad there. But since we're up against a Jablonka, we don't really have to worry about those things. So maybe, but he doesn't really have a slow either, so getting Wingblade is not quite what we want. He doesn't really have a lot of lifesteal either, besides just the Devourer's Gauntlet, and usually our last rate will be good enough for that. So getting Brawler's Beatstick is not great either. So maybe Shifter Shield does look the most appetizing here, due to the fact that it fits our situation. It allows us to accelerate our damage even more. So this is what I'm going to go with. The Shifter Shield to help us keep alive when because Jablonka does have a lot of burst damage he can dish out. And when we get to that threshold of 50% less HP, that extra protections is going to come in big hand. It will come in really handy. Big time. But before then, the additional 20 power will also be really handy in dishing out damage to him. So, I mean, from what I can see, Shifter Shield is the best choice right here. Now for actives, greater purification is always good. I find I buy it in most games I play. It's just very strong. Because one, teams are always trying to come up with combinations that they have stuns or some way to hard CC you. And during that time you're hard CC'd, they're trying to kill you, of course. And what's the better way to get out of the hard CC than beads? It's a cheap, inexpensive way to, stay alive. In greater Aegis or greater sprint, I agree with this more than the heavenly agility due to the fact that the greater sprint removes slows. So even if he had a slow, we can just pop this and just completely get rid of it. And with this, we also remove the penalization while attacking. So, I mean, it's really strong. So it works with our passive as well. So we can strife side to side with no penalty while basic attacking. That's pretty strong. And so pretty much now we can take a look at our numbers here. From just that, our Viper Strike at top level went from 42 damage to additional 37.50 per basic attack, which is very powerful. Okay, I think it's time for a mock battle. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, let's just try to start this off evenly. I don't want none of that. Oh, I got it. And this, and what you just saw there was my ultimate there. It does a crap ton of damage there. I just bursted right straight through him, and when I activated my Viper Strike, he became an easy target for me just to nail down. And yeah, pretty much that is Morgana in a nutshell. You want to use Medusa. I am very sorry. People don't hate me, okay? It's a brain thing. I played Morgana too much, way too much in in Dota 2. Okay, well anyway, I think she's a very strong champion or a very strong god. And I believe she's gonna make a very strong appearance in league games, and possibly the pro scene as well. It's just her ultimate is very strong. Not only is it very strong if they turn into stone and are stunned like that, but also it forces the enemy to turn around, which with some other gods is a big benefit, especially with Loki. If you can force them to turn away, then it is just huge. And also you can catch up at the bare minimum like 3 people. And also her lunge is just, yep. It's just her burst damage is ridiculous right now. Now you can see why I say that she's most likely going to receive a nerf. Most likely, I hope it's only going to be to her too. I hope they just scale down the damage on her too, because her ability to lane clear, as you see there, one ability I just took out an entire minion wave without any issues. I mean, she's the only hunter in the game right now who has that ability to just completely control the minion
besides
wave.
AMC
Yeah.
and Neith. Now
AMC
on
and
her.
Neith. No, on her it's it's still a little bit nerfed. It's not as good as it used to be, but it's better than after they nerfed it. But as it stands, I believe she has the easiest, most reliable way to clear out minion waves. That's for sure. And also in team fights, you can also use this to advantage in team fights, because if you hit the first person in the line, you can usually hit the rest of the team with it as well. So I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with her acid spray in team fights, hitting multiple people at once, which I find is very strong. Be able to hit that nuke on a lot of people. So my thought, she is definitely gonna get a nerf on that. I just hope they don't really nerf her. Oh. Yeah, I should have beads. I should have beads there. That was my mistake. In fact, I was too slow in that. But anyway, I hope you see that she is pretty strong. And of course, as you can tell, I was still able to get melted through, even with the shifter shield. And anything you want to add? Because I'm pretty sure I covered almost everything.
You covered everything. Every once in a while, you may want to add some malice to get a little bit more flavor in there.
Oh yes, malice. I did test malice on her. I found it does impact the bleed damage even more. It's like the same theory of adding malice to Circuit. Pretty much for that additional bleed damage, because your one actually procs crits, which with malice, that means you're not only applying bleed damage from your Viper Strike, but also from malice as well. So it's pretty strong, and also a good heft of damage and some crit chance there. So if you feel like you want even more damage instead of the shifter shield, you can do that. And you can tell there, if you're really good with your basic attacks, then pretty much your Viper Strike is going to be deadly. It's just devastating.
And ladies and gentlemen, I only play support. I'm not this bad.
Yeah, he's just not very used to Hunter, and I'm quite used with Hunters. I do play Hunters more often than he does. So that's a disclaimer on his part. But anyway, now on to the... what was I talking about before you said something? Because I had something in my head.
Let me see. There was the Malice. We covered the general guide of what to level up skill-wise, items, and we were think next would be combos.
Oh yes, it was talking about a combo here. I find that there is a very strong combo, but to do this combo, you must be certain that you can win. Because one, you're putting yourself out there for pretty much life or death. One, you want to apply your 50% reduction in healing, right? And to do that, you have to use your escape. So pretty much, if you know it's a 1v1 session and you know no one's going to rotate to help your opponent, then you want to 3 into them, reducing their effective healing. Then you'll be right in their face. So there will be almost no way you can mess up with the 1 with your Viper Strikes. There'll be no way you can do that. And then you can just melt them, and if they still have some more HP, you usually are still in range to use your Petrify. So your ulti. So pretty much we're going to do our little combo here, since we know we can win against Jean Blanc here. So pretty much we want to land this on him. See? He was able to get away. And and also I forgot to mention as well, If you kill them while with your petrify, they leave a statue behind. And what you can do with a statue is actually use it to spray out your acid spray. And you can also use it to body block, but anyone can destroy it. Minions seem to ignore the statues completely, but you can use the statues to your benefit. So leaving them around is pretty good for you. And as you can see
Also,
here,
they look really cool.
yeah, they do. I had a few that looked really sweet, like they were about to shoot out their ultis or something like that. It was really nice. It's very aesthetic, and I love the fact that they added this into the game. Just a whole new mechanic like that. But anyway, I think that's everything, and like always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like it, then hit that like button and then show your support, guys. And it's yeah. And if you want to see any certain gods to be covered, then leave the god name in the description below, and yeah, or in the comment section below. And I believe that will be it. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.